Hey there, I see you're interested in my research. Well, it's nice to meet you. I'm Khalil Anderson. I'm here at the University of Arizona in the CAT Vehicle Research Experience for undergraduates. I'm actually from the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, where I study computer science, and this is actually my first time in Tucson, Arizona. And I've overall enjoyed my time here. There have been multiple events that have been organized through UROC, such as graduate school preparation, GRE prep, and excursions to places like the Sonoran Desert Museum, where we got to see mountain lions and dancing otters, and it's been a great time so far. But like I said, you're here for the research, so let me delve deeper in what I've been doing, and let me just show you some things that I've been doing real quick. So, as I said before, I'm in the CAT Vehicle program, and in this program there are two sides to it. There's the autonomous vehicle side, and there's the cognitive radio side. I work with the cognitive radio side, and what we work with are vehicular ad hoc networks, or VANETs to be short. And what that is vehicles either talking to each other wirelessly or talking to some kind of radio towers or infrastructure wirelessly. The reason why I want to look at this is because we believe that as self-driving cars become more commercially available, that people are going to want something to take up their attention and entertain them. So we want to make sure that the band that's currently allocated for vehicles is suitable for an average traffic situation. So before we go more into that, let me just explain what I mean by the spectrum and what I mean by the band that they're allocated. After the Titanic sunk, the government decided to try to figure out what caused it and how to prevent it. And one of the things they did figure out was that the Titanic did send out a distress signal. The problem was, another radio station was also transmitting on that radio frequency. This caused interference and didn't allow the message to get to its designated recipient. So, what the government decided to do was to mandate that all radio stations have a license before they can transmit. This way, you don't have to worry about another radio station interfering with your communications. And so, with vehicular ad hoc networks, they're allocated the 5.9 gigahertz band. And on this band, it's 75 megahertz wide, and there are 4 service channels which can be used for things like media, as we're interested in. So we did some research to figure out whether or not these channels could stream video wirelessly in a stable manner in any kind of traffic situation. And based on our research, we came to a conclusion that no. So we started to look at alternatives. And one of the most eye-catching ones was the TV white space. And what this is the previously vacated analog TV bands that were used to transmit TV wirelessly. Now, the government unlicensed these and they're open for relicensing. Some have been auctioned off, but most of it is still open space. That is still waiting to be licensed. And so we believe that the amount of space that's open will provide a solution for the heavy amount of traffic that could be possible in any kind of traffic situation, especially in traffic jams. And doing some research, we determined the jam density was about 185 to 250 vehicles per kilometer per lane. Now that's a lot. Now, we don't even think that the 5.9 gigahertz band would be able to handle 1 or even 2 vehicles. So, an alternative does need to be found, and with the space that's available in the analog TV bands, we do believe that there can be a solution. And my research is to show the benefit of using a couple analog TV channels versus using all 4 service channels of the 5.9 gigahertz band. And I do this using a framework called OmNet++, which is a network simulator. Now, not all modules are directly built into OmNet++, but there are frameworks that build off of OmNet++ to make it more powerful, such as iNet and VANETs. iNet gives me the ability to create a UDP stream server and client, which is exactly what I need to mimic is video streaming traffic, while VANETs allows me to use traffic simulation and to allow the nodes or the cars to move around as if they were in a city. And it does this by taking a map of a city, and which it can be selected in a specific area. Once you select that area, you can import it, and you can convert it into different file types, and a couple file types will allow you to route vehicles into it. Once you do that, you put the configuration on OmNet++, and it will use the mobility and the coordinates set by that configuration file, and it will move the vehicles around by talking to a Sumo server. Once I did that, I did multiple configurations. I did 3 5.9 GHz configurations and 4 analog TV configurations. The 5.9 gigahertz are 1, 2, and 4 channels. Meanwhile, the analog TV is the 1, 2, 3, and 4 channels. And so I average out the average throughput that each vehicle gets in those simulations, and I make sure that the power level is equal and large enough so that the 5.9 gigahertz band can cover the whole area. I also make sure that every other setting is the same. The only difference is the bit rate and the carrier frequency and the channel bandwidth. So in doing that, I was able to average out throughputs between the vehicles in each configuration, and I could graph them together to compare the improvement of using the analog TV band versus the 5.9 gigahertz band. And so with that, you can see a clear improvement of using 4 analog TV channels versus 4 5.9 gigahertz channels, or any amount of channels in the 5.9 gigahertz band. And to think about this is that an analog TV band is 6 megahertz, and we use 4 of them, so that's 24 megahertz. Meanwhile, a service channel bandwidth is 10 megahertz, we use 4 of them, which is 40 megahertz. So we're not even using the same amount of space, but we're getting almost 10 times better performance. So if we use an equivalent space, we can almost easily be able to handle a lane's worth of jam density traffic. And so that's what I've been doing the past 10 weeks here at the U of A. I've really enjoyed my time and I've learned a lot, and I'm glad to have been here. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and I hope you've gotten something out of this.